Hi, everybody. We're not quite ready to start the meeting yet, but just going to do a little sound check. So we've been talking about what our favorite holiday movies are. Mine is The Grinch, and I'll ask my colleague Karen to confirm she can hear me and tell me what hers is in the chat.
Good evening, everyone. I'll ask if before we begin, if you are in the room and not on Zoom, if you can join, to make it easier for me to identify who wishes to speak. Thanks.
Okay, we have quorum and we have sound and we have video.
Hello, everyone. Just before I begin, I don't know if you heard me request that if you are in the room and a member of the board to please join the Zoom link, just to make it easier for me to tell who would like to speak on an item, if that's all right. Apologize that I'm not joining you in person this evening as I'm not feeling very well, and I certainly don't want to subject any of you to this cold. Ready, Alex? All right. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Hello, everyone. Bonjour à tous. My name is Matt Luloff. I'm the chair, président de CA. Welcome to the OPL board meeting. Bienvenue à la réunion de CA de la BPO. Alors, quick kikina, it is important to acknowledge that we're gathered on the unceded and ancestral territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin people. Many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people now live, work, and play and study on this territory. Nous rendons hommage à toutes les Premières Nations, aux Inuits et aux Métis, leurs aînés, leurs ancêtres, en reconnaissant leur importante contribution passée et présente. The Ottawa Public Library is committed to building relationships with Anishinaabe Algonquin communities, enriching our collections with Anishinaabe Algonquin content, respecting and including their voices, reflecting Indigenous culture and perspectives in our programs and spaces, supporting the host nation's culture, and implementing Indigenous reconciliation for the benefit of all Ottawans. I'll now proceed with a roll call. Je vous rappelle également de nous aviser verbalement si vous quittez la réunion. So just speak clearly into your microphone and also advise us verbally if you are with us virtually but need to leave the meeting. Harvey Allen Slack.
Mr. Chair. Je suis présent.
Fantastic, mon ami. Trustee Mary Rose Brown.
She's on her way. She'll be here in 1 minute in person.
Fantastic. Trustee Ralston King.
Here.
Vice Chair Kathy Fisher.
Present.
Trustee Catherine Kitts.
Here.
Trustee Adam Smith.
Here.
Trustee Allison Crawford.
Here.
And Trustee Jessica Bradley.
Here.
Wonderful. Good to have you all here today. Okay, just double checking, Alex, we're all good to go when it comes to our IT.
We are all good to go. I'm just going to remind folks who are here in the room, trustees in the room, please mute the microphone on your computer. Use only the sound like through the microphone on the table. Do not join computer audio.
Do we have any declarations of interest? Seeing none. I will note, Trustee Adam Smith, your sweater is fantastic. Big fan. Confirmation of minutes, item 6.1, minutes 27, Tuesday, the 4th of November, 2025. Are these minutes confirmed?
Confirmed.
Thank you. Communications. Item 7.1, letter of support, 2026 OPL draft operating and capital budgets from Christine Johnson. So thank you very much, Ms. Johnson, for that correspondence. Correspondence, support for the expansion of Elmvale Acres branch from Tomas Zaretti, the president of Elmville Acres Community Association. Thank you for your letter. Item 7.3 is the letter from support for the 2026 OPL draft operating and capital budget from Audrey Bélanger, president of the Hunt Club Community Association. So thank you very much, Audrey, for your letter. And before we move on to the verbal update and the Chief Librarian and CEO's report, let's approve the rest of the agenda. So please advise me if you'd like to hold an item for discussion or questions.
Approved.
We have to go through them first. Rapport reports. Item 10.1, 2026 draft operating and capital budget estimates and four-year capital forecast, les prévisions des budgets provisoires de fonctionnement et d'immobilisation pour 2025, incluant les prévisions sur 4A. This will be held for discussion. These documents, as you'll remember, were tabled at the November 4th OPLB meeting. Item 10.2, the 2026 Board Continuing Education Plan and Conference attendance. Because we do have to make a change to one of the attendees, we'll hold this item as well. Item 10.3, Audisoke Update, Construction and Operational Planning. Audisoke mise à jour sur les travaux de construction et planification opérationnelle. This is held for a presentation as well. So fellow members of the board, staff have advised that they would like the board to receive new information at the outset of tonight's meeting, in line with information shared earlier today at Finance and Corporate Services Committee meeting. I'm therefore asking that we move item 10.3, Audisoke Update, Construction and Operational Planning, as the first item of business, followed by decision items 10.1, 2026 budget, and 10.2, 2026 continuing education and conference attendance. Is this order of business confirmed?
Confirmed.
Okay. And item 11, in-camera items at the time. So in-camera items, we will be, we are receiving an in-camera briefing this evening on Audisoke, are we not?
We are, Chair.
We are. Okay, wonderful. Okay, IPDs, item 12.1, September OPLB meeting, a response to question about collections, and item 12.2, memo city reporting on Audisoke, which happened today. Let's proceed with the chair's verbal update and the CLCEO's report. A reminder that during these items, staff will be sharing a bilingual PowerPoint presentation. So we'll just wait for that to get up on the screen. Good to go. Bilan de 2025. As another year draws to a close, I'd like to take a moment to look back at some of the highlights of 2025 and key strategic decisions that the board has made. Redesigning the library experience, redéfinir l'expérience de la bibliothèque. In March, increased and more consistent opening hours at 7 rural branches began following board approval in late 2024, expanding access to expertise, programs, and collections close to home for our rural communities, and responding to feedback from rural residents. Via the 2025 annual budget, we also invested in branch improvements, including reconfiguring the public computer area at Sunnyside Branch, a very well-used area, and arranging new artwork in the children's area of the Osgood Branch. You can see both these projects on the screen right here. The art at Osgood was designed specifically for OPL by local artist Bonnie McQuillan, who is lovely. We approved staff seeking opportunities to lease space in Hunt Club, a legacy gap area, for a new branch, and approved both of the updated asset management plan and the facilities master plan, solidifying the foundation for investing in OPL's infrastructure for the next 20 plus years. Now in 2025, we also approved the 5 OPL service strategies, which defined and described 5 key services: collections, expertise, programs, services, and tools, and articulated outcome statements for each. As part of that report, staff also presented some inspiring and aspirational service commitments that will help guide work in the coming years and provide transparent benchmarks for service consistency. Lastly, in the spring, the OPL website was refreshed, providing a more secure, user-friendly, and accessible platform for clients and visitors. Au printemps, le site web de la BPO a été réfléchi, offrant une plateforme plus sécurisée, plus conviviale et plus accessible pour les clients et les visiteurs. Renforcer la capacité organisationnelle. In August, the board ratified the new collective agreement between OPL management and QP 503 bargaining unit. This agreement reflects a shared commitment of management and the union to support both the success of OPL and the needs of its employees. The dedication of both the union and management bargaining teams led to a successful negotiation. Staffing for the new central branch has been ongoing. OPL has over the past years recruited key positions in service development and in new service areas, with recruitment now expanding. Sonia will touch on this event in a moment, but will also note here the image you see is from the employee forum held late last month, which brought all OPL employees together to learn and celebrate. Next slide, please. Demonstrating the value of OPL. In June, we had the immense pleasure of approving the third phase of the brand strategy project after extensive consultation and very thoughtful work. I'm so jealous that I don't have one of those absolutely wonderful t-shirts. La nouvelle identité visuelle sera lancée publiquement au début de l'année prochaine. The concept of OPL as a tapestry picks up on the library's role as a third space, a place where a sense of community and connection are fostered and a piece of our collective social fabric is woven. Clients can connect with curiosity at OPL, where la curiosité sans limite is prioritized. I look forward to the next steps on this in 2026. And as you can see, staff are really excited about the new brand. Also in 2025, we received some significant gifts to the Unlock Potential campaign for the Central Branch, the details of which will be reported in the annual recap report in February 2026. Lastly, in recognition of the important contributions of individuals to the planning for the Central Branch at Odasoke, and noting OPL's commitment to taking tangible steps that reflect our relationship, the board approved extending free OPL memberships to members of the Kirikan-Zibi Anishinaabeg First Nation, the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan First Nation, and urban Indigenous people in the Ottawa-Gatineau area. Next slide, please. Enfin, je tiens à reconnaître le travail essentiel de gouvernance réalisé pour tous les administratrices et administrateurs qui a permis d'assurer le succès de ces initiatives et de bien d'autres en 2025. Finally, I want to acknowledge the critical governance work of all board members in ensuring these and many other 2025 initiatives were successful. To support this work, we looked first to our own governance. And this year we made changes to the board's committee structure reflecting our continued development of a strategic governance approach, stemming from the midterm governance review, including direct feedback from board members and third-party expertise. This committee structure supports our intentions, ensuring opportunities for meaningful discussions while supporting a strong strategic focus. In 2025, board members also fulfilled their critical role as advocates for OPL, participating in fund development activities, attending sector conferences, or attending local OPL events. Thank you to Vice Chair Fisher and Trustee Crawford for attending the Ontario Library Association Super Conference. And thank you to Trustees King and Slack for joining me at the American Library Association's conference and reporting back to the board on key takeaways. And thank you to those who were able to join the recent board workshops with Tomi Laito, shown here. Part of our role as a board and board members is to look up and out and to consider OPL in the broader context. Tomi's talk certainly provided that opportunity. In closing, I thank each of you for your guidance, your wisdom, and support of OPL. Your commitment helps to keep our system strong and vibrant. I look forward to working with you in 2026, the last year of this term. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank every single member of our OPL staff, from the senior leadership team all the way down to our pages. You are truly what makes this library wonderful and vibrant, and we appreciate you more than I could say in a board meeting. Over to the Chief Librarian and CEO for her report.
Thank you, Chair. Merci, Monsieur le Président. Starting with fund development, as noted by the Chair, the Unlock Potential campaign for the Central Branch at Odasoke continues, and we look forward to providing a more fulsome update in the new year. But in the meantime, tonight, I'm pleased to acknowledge a recent anonymous donation of $25,000 to the Unlock Potential campaign. While the specific designation of this gift is still to be determined, we understand the donor is interested in creative and STEM programming, reading and literacy, and literary engagement, and spaces that foster community connection. And we look forward to ensuring this gift has impact in areas most meaningful to that donor. Next slide, please. This November marked the 500th anniversary of Latvian publishing, a milestone of profound cultural and historical significance for those of Latvian heritage. In recognition of this occasion, the Latvian Embassy generously donated a selection of books to OPL. En reconnaissance de cette occasion, l'ambassade de Lettonie a généreusement fait don d'une sélection de livres à la BPO. This gift represents the culmination of a 5-year initiative led by the National Library of Latvia to celebrate the enduring role of publishing in Latvian culture. It was an honor to welcome His Excellency Ambassador Kaspars Ozolins to our main branch on November 26th to formally receive this donation. Next slide, please. Oh, the most requested books. It is that time of year again. I cannot close out a year without sharing some of the books Ottawans loved most in 2025. The top request this year was a nonfiction title, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, motivational speaker and podcast host with a large social media following. Fiction readers turn to romance, particularly new titles from popular writers such as Emily Henry and Taylor Jenkins Reid. Henry's new book, Great Big Beautiful Life, introduces us to Alice Scott, a writer clashing with an obnoxious literary rival to win the rights to tell the story of a larger-than-life character. The latest, Atmosphere, takes readers along a female scientist's quest to join NASA's Space Shuttle program. Et puis en français, encore une fois, les usagers de la BPO ont réservé un nombre record de livres cette année. Nous sommes ravis de constater l'intérêt que suscite nos riches collections. Dans les listes des livres les plus demandés cette année, on trouve un mélange d'auteurs primés tels que Raphaël Germain, Laurent Mauvigny, lauréat du prix Goncourt, et Giuliano da Empoli. Plage Laval explore la vie d'une femme qui se reconstruit après avoir déménagé à la campagne. Et dans la maison vide, on explore l'histoire d'une père qui rouvre la maison qu'il avait reçue de sa mère. Le documentaire L'heure des prédateurs explique des nombreux enjeux sociaux et politiques qui menacent la démocratie. For the younger crowd, Suzanne Collins' Sunrise on the Reaping, Hunger Games, a prequel, topped the list for teens, boosted by news of a film adaptation. Book Talk favorite authors like Sarah J. Maas kept romantasy trending for teens too. Kids continued to rush to get their hands on beloved series like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Harry Potter, and The Wild Robot, while Minecraft ruled nonfiction lists for kids. Our new French decodable collection, Facile à lire, was a runaway hit in 2025, and Les Méchants stayed strong thanks to movies and Netflix. It has been a wonderful year for readers, so let's keep the momentum going in 2026. Next slide, please. A bit of a year in review. Reflecting further on 2025, I'd like to note that we recently hosted our biannual Employee Forum, an energizing and thought-provoking day in which our more than 650 employees come together. This year, our guest speaker was Tommy Laitio, a global strategist in public space innovation and civic engagement, who previously led Helsinki's Culture and Leisure Division, including the world-renowned Uudi Library. He shared insights on the concept of convivencia, the art of living well together. Convivencia reminds us that public life is complex and friction is inevitable. A good day is not one without challenges, but one where we navigate them successfully. As Tommy notes, it is a cooperative state between harmony and conflict, built on practice, negotiation, and collective action. This perspective is, of course, vital to the work of OPL as we uphold intellectual freedom and manage access to public spaces. Cette perspective est essentielle au travail de la BPO, puisque nous défendons la liberté intellectuelle et gérons l'accès aux espaces publics. I was pleased to see staff engaging with Tommy's ideas at the forum, and also so pleased to connect with employees, to feel their energy and enthusiasm, and to take a moment to reflect back to them the meaning and the importance of their work. OPL is so fortunate to have the team it does, and it was a great day celebrating and learning and connecting. In 2025, we also undertook some other notable initiatives in addition to the ones already mentioned by the chair. Plans are progressing for Riverside South and Barrhaven branches. For Riverside South, the architects are working on developing preliminary designs for feedback, and planning for public engagement is ongoing with our partners at the city. For Barrhaven, a feasibility study is now complete. OPL has completed its enhanced risk management review, automated staff scheduling is now launched, and processes for our info service staff have also been improved. The success of these initiatives and many others in our work is a direct result of the creativity, dedication, and diligence of our staff. Their contributions across all roles and responsibilities ensure that OPL continues to deliver relevant and meaningful services to the community. And as we conclude, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to each member of the board for your guidance, wisdom, and unwavering support. Your commitment keeps our library system strong, vibrant, and forward-looking. So thank you. My senior management colleagues join me in wishing all members of the board, our colleagues at OPL, our colleagues across the city, our clients a restful and joyful holiday season. Next slide, please. And hours of operation during the holidays. Just a reminder that branches will be closed December 25th and 26th, as well as January 1st, 2026. Je vous rappelle que les succursales seront fermées le 25 et 26 décembre, ainsi que le 1er janvier 2026. Branch services, including bookmobile, homebound, and info service, will be open 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on December 24th and 31st. Please take some time over the holidays to visit the OPL website and explore the wealth of our digital collections and resources, from magazines to movies to music and more. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, trustees. This concludes my report.
The closures over the holidays give our staff an opportunity to catch up on some reading, so that is wonderful. Thank you very much, Madam CEO. We'll now proceed to the held items. And my apologies for those that are joining us today to speak to some of these items that we've moved 10.3 to the beginning. I much prefer to get through matters that have public delegations before dealing with these sorts of matters. But as you can understand, with the update that came to City Council today, we need to prioritize ensuring that the board is made aware of the information that was provided today at Finance and Corporate Services Committee. So please accept my apologies for having you wait perhaps a little bit longer than I normally would have. Okay, with the new order, item 10.3, Autasoke update, construction and operational planning. The report author is Craig Ginther, and I'll now turn things over to Sonia for some opening remarks, and then to Craig Ginther, Division Manager, Facility and Technology Services, for the presentation, with contributions as well from our usual city partners. We have Tammy Rose, our General Manager, Infrastructure and Water Services. We have Karina Duclos, our Director of Infrastructure Services. They'll be presenting with Craig. As well, we have Tara Blasioli, Manager, Design and Construction on a Soke project from the city, who's present this evening to respond to any questions as required. And just as a reminder to my fellow board members, we'll hear the full presentation before moving on to further discussion. So please hold your questions, because before we move in to questions to staff, we have received information that requires the board to move into a closed session. So I'll turn it over now to staff. Hold your questions until the end, please, and over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Indeed, the last time the board received an update on the Adesoke project, a formal report was in June of this year. At that time, there was a schedule pressure identified. And so I know that there's a lot of interest in this update. And I appreciate that we'll go through the entirety of the presentation. There's also an update on the planning within OPL that will be provided. So I'll hand it over to staff straight away. Craig.
Okay, yeah, and I'll also start by thanking our colleagues from the city for being here to present a project update, and then I will immediately turn it over to them. And when they are finished, I will conclude the presentation with some updates on operational readiness planning from the OPL perspective. So over to you, folks.
Thank you, Craig. Mr. Chair, members of the board, we're really pleased to be with you this evening to give you an update on the construction project for Adesoke. My name is Tammy Rose. I'm the General Manager for Infrastructure and Water Services. I believe you all know Tara Blasioli very well. She comes and provides regular updates. And I also have Karina Duclos, the Director of Infrastructure Services. The Infrastructure Services and Water Services Department is responsible for overseeing the delivery of Adesoke, a custom-designed landmark facility that reflects the ambitions of a strong partnership between the City of Ottawa, the Ottawa Public Library, and Library and Archives Canada. This is a unique collaboration uniting federal and municipal institutions in a way that is unprecedented in Canada. Regular project updates have been provided to the board since construction began, with the most recent update in June, when we signaled that the contractor was experiencing pressures that could affect the construction schedule. Since then, we have continued to monitor these pressures closely, strengthen our oversight, and work collaboratively with the contractor and partners as we assess and mitigate their impacts. Today's update will provide the latest information on construction progress, the contractor schedule, and our ongoing communication and engagement efforts. I also want to reinforce our commitment to timely updates. We provide information as soon as it is accurate, validated, and appropriate to bring forward, and today's presentation is part of that commitment. With that, I will turn it over to my colleague Karina, who will walk us through our update.
Thank you, Tammy. Good evening. Next slide, please. On this photo, you can see that Adesoke is one of a kind in many ways. This design reflects inspiration from engagement done with our Indigenous partners and the Canadian landscape. Adesoke has achieved many significant milestones since construction began in late 2021. Completion of the foundation, structure, wood roof, and making the building watertight. Awarded a pre-construction certification for accessibility from the Rick Hansen Foundation. Design certification for net zero carbon design elements. Solar panels on the roof and along the facade to generate energy that will help power Adesoke. And most recently, we are very proud to announce that the project achieved final connection to the federal government district energy system, the city's first facility to do so, using water to heat and cool this building. Next slide, please. On the exterior of the building, Western red cedar is being added to the facade, creating an eye-catching signature feature. This addition has drawn a lot of positive attention from the public. It is transforming the look of this building, reflecting the renderings that have been shown over the years. Seeing it come to life is an exciting development in the progress of this facility. Next slide, please. Stepping inside. The curves of the exterior continue along. Much of the interior is covered in millwork and was designed to look like one continuous ribbon of warmth beginning on the 5th floor and flowing down to the atrium. Installation needs to be done in sequence, beginning at the top. The photo on the left shows some of the curved millwork panels being acclimatized before installation. And the photo on the right highlights some of the atrium curves that will make part of our millwork ribbon. Next slide, please. As the millwork progresses, the scaffolding is coming down, revealing the remarkable ceiling of Arizoke with windows that allowed for natural light to flow in. This is indeed a captivating focal point. Next slide, please. At this year's June update to this board, we advised a pressure to the schedule as flagged by the contractor. Staff needed time to review and assess those impacts. The contractor is contractually required to develop and maintain the construction schedule, to provide the city with regular monthly updates, to take appropriate measures to maintain progress, and to deliver recovery plans if needed. Since our update in June, the contractor has continued to communicate delays, adding now that significant schedule recovery is unlikely at this stage of the project. The contractor is responsible for substantiating and providing the validity of their schedule delays. It is very important to note that today, the city has not accepted these delays as reported, and the construction contract has not been amended to reflect a change to the contractual completion date. The pressures realized on the construction have a direct impact to the public opening. Between construction completion and public opening, there is a lot of work to do that requires and deserves focus and care. Nothing should be rushed. Everyone involved is united in their commitment to deliver this project responsibly. And to that end, Arizoke public opening will not be in 2026. The next slides will cover our schedule mitigation activities, and some aspects cannot be discussed in open sessions. We may not be able to respond to all the questions at the time, and this is the basis for our recommendation to update this board in closed session. Next slide, please. From the outset, this project maintained diligent oversight on schedule. It has been an item in the risk register since construction began, and due diligence on schedule mitigation has been a top priority for the city, our partners, as well as the contractor. Before this project was tendered, during the contractor pre-qualification process, the industry provided feedback on the original plan, and the completion date for the project was extended by 10 months. We also had an independent third party recognizing the industry for their expertise on schedule oversight and control, continually reviewing the schedule submissions to question logic, understand the review and review critical path activities, challenge contractor work plans, and understands the overall health of the schedule. The team has bi-weekly and monthly check-ins at projects and progress and trade-specific meetings where look-ahead plans are presented and discussed to further validate schedule assurance, to test the contractor's logic and progress in the critical path. Weekly meetings were set up with the contractor to present their priority questions to get quick answers and avoid delays. When appropriate, the contractor was allowed to pre-purchase material and equipment that would be seen as a benefit to the schedule given the supply chain concerns at the time. When unplanned issues arose on site, collaborative workshops with the contractor, trades, architects, and contract administrators were held so resolution could be achieved as quickly as possible. Next slide, please. With the pressure that was signaled by the contractor in the spring, the project team took immediate additional steps to enhance support on schedule management and mitigation. We have increased our direct oversight through multiple measures. We brought in a new and additional third-party schedule expert to offer a fresh perspective. We added resources to our internal team, the architectural team, and the contract administrator team. We added a senior construction specialist who attends critical meetings and visits the site to assess progress and flag issues. We added partnering sessions with the contractor, architects, schedule experts, construction experts, and the clients. Through them, we consider prioritized areas that can be fit up earlier and opportunities for an expedited move-in plan. We added escalation pathways for senior leaders between the city and the contractor. And we accelerated partner decision protocols, ensuring that required partner decisions are expedited. Next slide, please. This table shows the overall project budget as of October 31st. It breaks out the financial contributions made by the city and OPL, as well as those made by LAC. The line item actual represents funds that have been spent to date. Where committed are funds already on purchase orders for vendors. Some items that will draw against the 20 million include the purchase of furniture and equipment needed to fit up this building, including the cafe, the catering kitchen, and the gift shop. Next slide, please. Led by our clients, we have continued to hold our annual engagement sessions with the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation, focusing on programming. We are also working on our year in review video that will showcase the amazing progress made on this facility. As always, we will continue our ongoing newsletters and update the information in the project website. Lastly, we will continue to provide timely updates on progress. Next slide, please. This project is not in jeopardy. Work on site continues with great focus and care, and without losing sight of our common goal. We are committed to working with all partners to get this project across the finish line. And we are very much looking forward to the opening of this 5-story landmark for all. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to now very briefly discuss ongoing efforts by OPL staff to prepare for the opening of the central branch. Our focus is on initiating activities at the right time and staggering work appropriately to ensure operations are ready when the building opens, in coordination with the completion of construction activities. Some activities are led by OPL independently, while others involve collaboration with the city and our partners at Library and Archives Canada. Next slide, please. Several key activities have already been completed. These include a shared services agreement with Library and Archives Canada, the design of the gift shop and food services spaces, and the development of the employee recruitment plan. Next slide, please. Many other activities are currently underway, reflecting the planning horizon required for various preparatory tasks. Examples include employee recruitment, planning for future moves of collections, public art, and some technology, preparing for retail operations, developing new OPL services across all 5 service categories. Additional activities and timelines that are outlined on the following slides identify the completion of readiness work that is already underway. Next slide, please. Thus, approximately 6 to 9 months before we open, we will confirm signature launch events that are being planned now, purchase various OPL-specific pieces of equipment for the building for which procurement approaches are currently being finalized, and begin training employees to deliver new services that are being planned. Next slide, please. About 3 to 6 months before opening, we anticipate that we will start to bring in some of the library-specific equipment for installation, such as checkout equipment, among others, which OPL is responsible for purchasing. We will also be initiating some work that has been planned for post-construction, including implementation of a public address system and people counters. We will also continue with efforts to train employees on new services. Next slide, please. And finally, as we get into the home stretch before opening, staff will be ensuring that all furniture and equipment is in the right location, that everything has been moved from main branch as required, that all employees who are working in the building have been trained to deliver services, and that they are actively working in the building at least a month before it opens. Next slide, please. So as you can see, internal readiness activities are continuing and will be paced to the opening of the building as appropriate. And staff are continuing efforts to ensure that we are indeed ready. That work depends on ongoing collaboration with our colleagues at LAC and the city's project management office, and updates will continue to be provided to the board as milestones firm up.
Thank you very much. Do we have any further presentation from staff on this item? Okay. So before we move on to questions to staff, as I mentioned earlier, we have received information that requires the board to move into closed session. So I'll now ask Vice Chair Fisher to move a motion to move in camera.
That the Ottawa Public Library Board move in camera in accordance with Section 16.14F of the Public Libraries Act to receive advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose.
Is this motion carried?
Carried.
Okay, so please note that this closed session is not subject to public discussion or audience. The closed section is restricted to board members, Sonia Bebbington, Anna Basile, Craig Ginter, Alexandra Yarrow, Julie Tremblay, and also from the City of Ottawa, Tammy Rose, Karina Duclos, Tara Blasioli, and Chris Merrick from Legal Services. Thank you. I'll now ask that members that are joining us virtually and members in the room please close out this session and join at the in-camera link that you were provided as well. So please leave this session and join the in-camera link. Thank you. To those that are watching on YouTube or waiting to delegate on another item, again, my apologies. In order to facilitate the timely passing on of information regarding what was presented today in council, we are moving in camera to receive this update, the confidential portion of this update. I apologize for keeping you waiting. It's not a practice that we like to do. So please be patient. We will return shortly. Thank you. Alex, you want to give me a thumbs up and we can kick it off?
Was just about to do a sound check, so I'm going to ask. Okay, we have sound. Everything is connected. We are technologically fine.
Do we have quorum?
Sure do.
Wonderful. Please let the record show that the board went in camera or closed session. The matter dealt with was related to receiving advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. The specific details of these items cannot be reported out for the reasons shared previously. No votes were taken and no decision was made in camera. We'll now proceed with the discussion in open session regarding this item. As a reminder to my colleagues, considerations discussed in closed session cannot be raised in open session. Questions should be germane to the presentation made in the open session. I want to apologize again for those who are tuning in online and those who came to delegate on other items this evening. Obviously, this is not the way we usually like to do things, but I'm sure that you understand, given the circumstances, why that update needed to be given. So again, my apologies. Do we have any further questions to staff on this item? Seeing none, is this item received?
Received.
Thank you, board. All right. I certainly hope that our delegates are still with us. Now we have item 10.1, the 2026 draft operating and capital budget estimates and for your budget directions. The report author is the wonderful and competent Anna Basile. Last month, staff presented a draft budget for 2026, and it was my pleasure to represent the board in tabling of this budget with the Ottawa City Council alongside the senior leadership team. This budget represents a prudent financial approach for the board, recognizing the many and varied requirements for 2026, and will help ensure that OPL remains a vital, responsive, and sustainable service for Ottawa residents now and into the future. Since tabling, staff have attended various councillor-led budget consultations, and thank you to you for doing that. As far out as Ward 5 in one direction and Ward 1 in the other, and then south as well. You've been working to ensure that the budget reflects input from the community as much as possible in alignment with our priorities. They've also been working with city staff to advocate for stable funding for Central Brand's operations, as expressed by you and me, and from some of the information in the IPD, some of the letters that we've received from the community as well. We have some delegations this evening to speak to the draft budget. And before they delegate, I'll turn it over to Sonia and Anna to provide a brief verbal update, as we did have the full presentation last meeting.
Thank you, Chair. We're pleased to provide a brief update regarding the draft budget, particularly focused on public input that's been received over the 4-week period. Membres, le budget provisoire est le fruit d'une approche financière le plus prudente que peut adopter le Conseil en tenant compte des multiples et divers besoins pour 2026. In particular, the draft budget reflects OPL's requirements and maintains current operations within council-directed funding, supports asset maintenance and includes funding for a new branch for the Hunt Club neighborhood, enhances the client experience through increased collections funding and expanded Sunday hours throughout the year, builds staff capacity for current services, provides incremental funding for Central Branch at Adesoke operations, and strengthens financial stewardship through efficiencies and fair user fee updates. So over the past month, we have received a combined total of 6 pieces of correspondence, as well as comments at various budget sessions. The correspondence was included with the agenda package issued for today. And to summarize the public feedback, there is support for the expansion of Sunday hours to year-round, as well as requests to add Sundays to the Sunnyside branch specifically. There is support for the new branch to serve the Hunt Club neighborhood, including from individuals who have delegated to the board in the past. There is a request to add funding to expand the Elmvale Acres branch. You'll recall that expansion of this branch was listed as part of the facilities master plan. And finally, there was a request for funding for ergonomic chairs. Staff have assessed the feedback and do not recommend changes to the draft budget at this time. I know we have 2 online delegations this evening. So we're happy to answer questions of the board at the appropriate time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Sonia and Anna. We have 3 delegations on this item. Oh, sorry, 2 delegations now. We have virtually, we have Ana Maria Cruz Valderrama and we have Dr. Reed. I will begin the delegations with Ana Maria. Ana Maria, if you want to come off of mute, we would be pleased to hear your delegation. And again, my sincere apologies. It's very nice to see you again, by the way. We got to work together on the Accessibility Advisory Committee in the last term. Ana Maria, you are a wonderful advocate for our accessibility community. I appreciate being able to chat with you again. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you and all members of the board regarding the budget 2026. My name, as you say, is Ana Maria Cruz Valderrama, a person with a hidden disability, member of the Accessibility Advisory Committee, founder and executive director of New Beginnings, a small non-for-profit organization serving Spanish-speaking seniors, and also founding member of the Ethnocultural Seniors Network under the umbrella of the Social Planning Council of Ottawa. Today, I am speaking as a regular member of the community. My disability requires sitting accommodation that is getting worse due to the aging process. Currently, my in-person activities are very limited, especially during the winter season. I am making a formal request for the board to make possible the acquisition of 2 ergonomic chairs for each branch to accommodate patrons with a sitting accommodation needs. It is incomprehensible that a person with special needs has to wait for 3 weeks to visit a library until an ergonomic chair is available. But what happens if the day one booked the chair, one cannot make it to the library because one wakes up with a terrible physical pain and emotional distress because it's unable to walk or is finding very difficult to walk? For the last 5 years, I have been virtually active with Dancing with Parkinson, Toronto, and Senior Planet USA. These 2 organizations are doing outstanding work in keeping seniors and people with disabilities active and engaged. This past August, also, I joined the Garden Studio. The founder and director is based in Fort Worth, Texas. The great majority of those who participate in August experience live in more than 7 countries, including the US and Canada. What a memorable event where about 2,000 seniors, some living and dealing with disability, participated. I have a similar joy every day at 10 a.m. from Monday to Friday for the stretching class hosted by Senior Planet. Between 580 to 790 seniors and people with disabilities connect to enjoy a fabulous class. I can join and enjoy any of the many activities offered from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to some days up to 8 p.m. and on Saturdays up to 2 p.m. Same link for the past 5 years. I'm able to participate as it pleases me. All of this is free of charge and is also possible because obviously I am at home. I have a comfortable accommodation. However, due to my sitting needs, I cannot visit the library to sit and read a book or join any activity. I am aware, and I do understand that people with disabilities are diverse, as diverse are our needs. However, I don't think that those of us requiring sitting accommodation have to wait for 3 weeks to access to a chair so one can enjoy a visit to the library. I know and I understand that the library has many priorities, but I honestly think meeting people with disabilities needs should be considered as a budget priority in 2026. In closing, I am looking for accommodation for me and other peers suffering like me. We would love, like any regular patron, to have the opportunity to get out of the house to enjoy reading a book at the library or joining an activity, especially in the long winter months. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members of the board.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions to staff on this item? Any questions to the delegation?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Harvey.
This is Trustee Harvey Slack. Thank you, Madame, for your Thank you for your presentation. I find your case very compelling, especially. Oh. What happened?
Go ahead. You're good.
I lost her.
No, she's still there. Don't worry.
I, as a trustee, would certainly support it because accessibility is important in whether it's visual or whichever way. And I hear your case, and I will support it if it goes to a vote. I don't know what the cost is. We'll have to find out this and other factors. But as I say, thank you very, very much for this heartwarming presentation.
Thank you very much. Do we have any further questions or comments for the Kathy, are you raising your hand there? Sorry, I can see you in the room. Go ahead.
Yes, I am. I think I thank Trustee Slack. What I'd like to hear from staff or from our CEO, Chief Librarian, is I know that there's considerable work that has been done on accessibility, and so. Madam CEO, could you provide us with some information or some details on what we are doing on this front? Because I think Anna Maria would appreciate as well what we've been doing on this front as well, because I know that we are making some progress. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy to answer now. I'm happy to wait until all delegations have been heard before responding to questions, procedurally, whichever makes sense, Chair.
I think I'll allow you to respond to that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Indeed, OPL has commitments to meet accessibility requirements wherever and whenever possible. And so we incorporate accessibility design and features when we design a branch, and we make reasonable efforts to ensure that our practices align with that. And we do provide a number of seating options. They accommodate a variety of needs. As the delegate has indicated, that people don't have all of the same needs. It's not just one chair that is accessible, for example. So they may have ergonomic task chairs, chairs with a wider seat, chairs with wheels, chairs without wheels. Those needs can differ. At every branch, we have a workstation that we call it the accessibility workstation. It has a high visibility keyboard. It has other accessible technologies associated with it, and it has an adjustable task chair. That's available at every branch. Sometimes that may be in use. When and where possible, we have added additional chairs. Not every branch can accommodate that. basically due to size, but some of our larger branches can. And indeed, I know that staff are very willing to work with clients in order to meet their accessibility needs. If we have their needs in advance, that's of course most successful. But I know that staff are always willing to work with clients to try and meet their needs.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any further questions for the delegation? Okay, seeing none. Thank you very much, Madam.
Chair, if you allow me 30 seconds, please. I know that
Typically we don't engage in debate at the board. I'm very sorry, but
Okay.
you're free if you'd like to send us some correspondence. I'm so sorry.
No, sure I do. I will do.
Okay, thank you. I
There is
appreciate
no
it very much.
accommodation for me. I'm sorry. Thank
No,
you.
That's fair. Thank you. Okay, our second delegation this evening is Dr. Reed. Dr. Reed, no stranger to our board, obviously. Very nice to have you with us again. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. Is the microphone working?
It certainly is. You sound great.
Very good. And thank you for the opportunity to make some progress on my book while you were in closed session. I appreciate that. My intention today was to ask the board to approve funding for OPL as proposed last month. I also wanted to ask trustees who are councillors to please advocate for the full budget with their colleagues. With today's announcement of delays in the Central Library opening, budget impact is certainly unclear to me. Is the requested amount, in particular the portion allocated to Adesoke, which pushes the total beyond the city budget guidelines, still appropriate? What will council approve? If changes are appropriate, I understand they will come back to the board for decision on priorities. And if so, please allow time for the community to make comments. OPL's planning activity is funded in this budget. While there's no immediate pressure, another cycle of facilities planning isn't imminent, but please consider the criteria used. They have evolved. It used to be that a 3-kilometer radius circle was drawn around each branch, and anything within that was considered well served. In the most recent study, the circle was replaced with an average distance, but it still had a strict cutoff of 3 kilometers. That eliminated one community as it was 60 meters short. Studies show that the closer you live to a branch, the more likely you are to be using it. That suggests the distance factor would be better expressed as a smoothly graduated score, as used in other criteria. Criteria might also include accessibility by public transit. Please express your support for using advanced information technology so that the community at large can best benefit from OPL services. Such technology could help OPL tailor the services operated at branches to better cater to the local community. The area around the planned Hunt Club branch has a high proportion of recent immigrants and the highest proportion of single seniors in the city. Finally, will the board please ask OPL to look at its activities through a climate lens and consider how library operations can contribute to greenhouse gas emission reductions? Library services should do their share. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reed. What are you writing your book about?
I might have known. The book I'm reading is called Acquiring the Canadian West, Why, How, and How Much by Ed Wickham.
Oh, I understand.
Number of his books in the Ottawa Public Library.
I was under the impression that you were writing a book.
No, I'm reading a book.
Well, you might wish to one day.
Oh, I have done.
Oh, wonderful.
You want to read about the Ottawa sharpshooters?
Yes, I do.
There are copies in the Ottawa Public Library.
I will look you up, sir. Thank you. Any questions for our delegation? Just looking around the room.
Would
Seeing
it
none.
be possible for the CEO to comment on climate and greenhouse gas emissions?
Certainly. Should the CEO wish to comment, please.
I wasn't prepared to comment on that this evening, but I'm very happy, Dr. Reed, to correspond with you following the meeting, and I will get you some information and we can chat.
Sorry to put you on the spot, Madam CEO.
I appreciated the opportunity to talk to Sonia at one of the consultation meetings.
Wonderful. Any further questions that we have for the delegate this evening? Thank you very much, and thank you for sharing what you're reading. I'm looking forward to chatting with you again soon. I'm certain of it. Okay, responding to questions this evening are Sonia Bebbington, our Chief Librarian and CEO, who you are very familiar with, and also Anna Basile, Division Manager, Corporate Services, and Matthew Pritz, back up in the hot seat, Program Manager, Finance and Business Services. And we also have with us this evening from the City of Ottawa Financial Services, Cyril Rogers, the General Manager, Finance and Corporate Services Department and Chief Financial Officer. Also probably the City of Ottawa staff member who has had the least amount of sleep over the course of the last 2 months. And Svetlana Volkova, who's also probably quite sleep deprived at this point, our Deputy Chief Financial Officers. So I'll open the floor to trustees. I have questions on my own, but if somebody wants to go first, I'll cede the floor. Okay, I'll break the ice, I guess. Can a member of staff talk to us a little bit? I mean, we've heard in some of the correspondence and in some of the delegation, one of the delegations this evening. Can we talk about the portion of our budget that's outside the purview of this board?
Thank you, Chair. Sure, I can start. Indeed, the board's role is to determine that the request within the budget reflects the library's operating needs, and that we had within that request assigned all of those sources of funding that are under the purview of the board. And indeed, there was a funding difference of approximately $4.9 million that reflected the bulk of funding required to operationalize the central branch. So within the sources of funding within the board's purview are all accounted for, and indeed 20% of Ottawa Central Library at Adasoke is funded on a permanent and ongoing basis through our use of the council-directed increase. As to the amount that is above direction, if you look at the budget book, you can see within it that the budget book is balanced. And I have colleagues from the city here because this is where it is outside of our consideration right now. But our colleagues, my understanding is that that funding comes from the tax stabilization reserve, and that's what balances our budget book for 2026. The tax stabilization reserve also, as I understand it, and I'm sure Cyril, who is no stranger to microphones, will come if he wishes to correct or clarify. The tax stabilization reserve is not a flow-through or permanent renewable source of funding. It is as a reserve fund. And you will see that on page 12 of the budget book, the last part of that table, and you will see those revenue lines relative to the facility and operations services staff within Central, and then the remainder of staff within Central.
I'll turn it over to Cyril to comment, please.
Thank you, Chair. So good night, members of Ottawa Public Library Board. For those that don't know me, my name is Cyril Rogers. I'm the Chief Finance Officer and General Manager at the city. So Sonia is correct, just a little bit of a nuance. So if you do look at the budget book, there is $4.9 million there for Atasoke. Of that 4.9, 2.5 is base funding. So that's the base funding for 2026. The residual 2.4 is one time. And that one time reflects the delay that you just heard about in the previous presentation. So what we'll be doing in 2026 on the city side, the facilities costs, utilities, those types of things are managed through the facilities budget. Then we transfer that cost over to OPL. So that's where that one-time funding is. If that's not used in 2026 during the 2026 disposition report, any unused funding for Atasoke gets returned back to the reserve, and in the 2027 budget will then have your top up to the full base that you would need in 2027.
Okay, so I just want to be perfectly clear that the 2.9 is base funding, so that will be in that is on a go forward basis in our A base.
Chair, 2.5. So of the 4.9, 2.5 is base funding that will be there. Yes, the term you use here is a base funding. Yes.
And that's like above and beyond the budget allocation that we've been provided this year.
Yeah, and Chair, maybe I'll provide a bit more clarification. The standard practice in a year-over-year basis would be allocating a pro rata share to the boards.
Yeah.
So the last couple of years, given the challenges with transit and a couple other service areas, the budget's been done a little differently. So at the city, we have 3 levies. We have an Ottawa Police levy, we have a transit levy, and then we have a citywide levy. So the transit levy, all that property taxation revenue collected for transit goes to transit. Ottawa Police goes to Ottawa Police. And then you have the big bucket of citywide levy. So that portion funds all citywide services. The portion that goes to Ottawa Public Health, the portion that goes to Ottawa Public Library is part of that. In 2026, the OPS levy is going up by 5%. The transit levy is going up by 8%. And the citywide levy is only going up by 2%. And that meets the council's directed target of overall 3.75%. So I know there's a lot of numbers moving around here. So the actual allocation to OPL was 2.9% for normal funding. Obviously, this is what I would deem a transition or transformative type year, 2 years coming up with the onboarding of a brand new library. So that funding is being funded through other sources within the city. Property taxation accounts for about 48% of our overall revenue. Within the city overall structure, we have a budget of about $70 million for investment income as an example. So we do a lot of investments that generates money that comes in. We have many other non-departmental revenue sources that kind of gets housed in the non-departmental section of the citywide. So that base funding is really coming from those sources. So again, to be crystal clear, 2.5 is there for base, and then the residual 2.4 is one time, giving the onboarding and timing of when things will slowly come on from a facilities perspective.
Okay, I really do appreciate that clarification. And, over the course of the last couple of budgets, we've absorbed some of the cost of ramping up for Atasoke into our normal budget allocation. We want to make sure that we're not eating into regular operations moving forward to be able to continue to fund that chunk. So if you could speak to that, and then to save time, because I see that Councillor King wants to ask you a couple of questions as well. That 2.4% that right now is coming from other sources, are we certain that will be added to our base budget, or what we refer to as a base budget in the year that Atasoke opens, to ensure, because this isn't capital funding or one-time costs. These are staff costs, these are programming costs, these are operational costs, right? Typically, we don't use our reserve for operations. We use it for more tangible one-time costs that will be added to our budget in addition to the regular increase in growth.
So Chair, I don't want to give a runaround answer. The reality is we can't pre-commit future budgets. I mean, the city is bound by an annual budget approval. What I can say, I would be shocked if that 2.4 doesn't come through in the base in the next cycle. I'm not aware of any facility in the city where we've opened up a facility and fund ongoing base pressures with one time. This is only one time in 2026 because the transition year. So I appreciate I can't commit to it because I can't bind council to the 2027 budget, but certainly that's the practice we follow where we will bring those base budgets in that budget cycle. So again, I would be shocked if that wasn't the case, but the full intention is in 2027, the residual base would come through to fully support the full 365-day operation of Adisoke.
Okay, I mean, I appreciate that and thank you. The reality is, however, is that, you know, the proposed budget that comes forward, well, it does follow the directions of council. Like the pen is with you, right? So I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Can you tell us what the new base budget is then, or what we would refer to as a base budget for OPL is for 2026 with all of this in mind?
Chair, I'm not as on top of my game, I guess, when it comes to the overall Ottawa Pike Library budget but I would suggest whatever the total is today, less that 2.41 time, that's your base budget for 2026, unless there's other one-time items that I may not be aware of. I'm looking to Sonia to clarify that, but that would be my understanding.
So if the total budget envelope is 68.48 following the council directed increase, we're looking at that plus 2.5. Is that correct?
So Chair, your 66.7 would include the 4.9 already? Or, well, if it doesn't, then in the other templates, your templates are a little slightly different. But if you go to your explanatory notes template, you'll see $4.9 million there, 4.830 to be exact, I think. Of that, 2.5 is base and the residual 2.4 is one time. I can certainly get it offline and provide it to Sonia if that works as well.
Yes, please. Okay, I don't want to eat up everybody's time. Go ahead, Councillor King or Trustee King.
Thank you so much, Chair. And I don't really have questions to pose to Cyril, though I appreciate the support that we're receiving from the city through the tax stabilization reserve. I wanted to focus on staff who are also, I think, putting in real work in terms of finding efficiency. So we're doing work on that side as a board. And the budget notes, I think, $2.78 million in efficiency over this current board term. I'm just wondering how we're continuing to track and verify these efficiencies. And I'm also curious about the process that we're undertaking to identify future efficiency opportunities.
Thank you. I think I will answer that by starting to go back to something that the chair mentioned, and that is about our commitment of 20% of the cost of Adisoke. I just want to inform the board, we will not be able to do that on an ongoing basis. We will not be able to do that next year. We did that this year in a show of good faith to initiate the process for the sort of major funding portions of Adisoke, but that's not something that is sustainable. So in terms of, and we have a commitment, the board has made a commitment to deliver Adisoke, but not do so at the expense of other services. I know that Anna has a list of the efficiencies that we've identified, but I believe it's many millions over the last 10 or 15 years, especially with the introduction, for example, of RFID. And some of those technologies, we have found some efficiencies, and indeed the board has realized some for the provision of the additional hours at rural branches. That was identified through efficiencies. So those are a couple of the examples, but I'll be very frank with the board. The opportunity to realize efficiencies is, there isn't very much juice left to squeeze there. So, we are going to start, you're going to start seeing those efficiency numbers decrease in the next little while. So I talked about the rural hours. I don't know if Anna's ready with any further examples or if further examples are required in answer to your question.
Yeah, I can provide some additional examples, and maybe then I'll also provide additional context just further to Sonia's comment with respect to the ability to find further efficiencies is getting harder and harder to find. So I think the first thing that I'll note is that 80% of our budget right at the moment is compensation. Right. And so that is the largest impact. And as an organization that has commitments to grow and add additional branches, we know that that is essentially funding that we really won't be looking at in terms of efficiencies. However, we do try, we're always looking at ways that we can realign our operations in order to reassign certain compensation fundings into other areas. And so some of the things that we have talked about in terms of a go forward basis is how can we find, is there an opportunity to find some positions internally to offset the needs that we have, for instance, for Hunt Club or for Riverside South? We know that we won't be able to find all of them internally, but we might be able to find some positions through some strategic decisions aligned with our organizational priorities. Some of the things that we've had the good fortune of being able to do in the past, when I think about this term of the board, this is the first budget in this term of the board where we have actually invested money for technology lifecycle. We have made a number of different contractual changes over the last 3 years where we have been able to save, and I have just on those alone, it was close to $300,000. So we've been able to offset the cost of licensing and maintenance costs for technology. Again, I think we have probably exhausted our abilities within that particular category. Again, recognizing that with Central, we are looking at more new opportunities. I'm not sure if that answers.
It does. And, I'm being probing to actually applaud the library for the efforts that it's actually undertaking to show our city partner, frankly, that we are working on the other side to contain costs and to improve performance. So I think it's really important to acknowledge, especially in a system where you're pointing out there isn't a tremendous amount of juice to extract from the fruit. So I really wanted to emphasize that. The next question really revolves around risk management. And I know that this report did identify multiple risks. We're talking about one in a sense, funding gaps, reserve depletion. We mentioned COLA escalation, as well as the potential for the need to improve existing facilities. So I'm just wondering if staff can talk about the impact of enterprise risk and how we reflect that in terms of our budget planning. I think that Dr. Reed was also really kind of talking about some of the risks. I know in the library's asset management plan, climate change mitigation and resilience and the deferral of climate initiatives were mentioned as a potential risk, I believe. So I'm just wondering if you can talk about how you're trying to address risk in terms of this budget.
I'll start just with that split of funding related to Central that Cyril has clarified for us. So I'll be very clear, we are not changing the requirement related to Central. We are starting to recruit. That has started. It takes us a long time to recruit and to onboard and to train. And so we are going to continue with that. We have some momentum. And we're going to continue. So the fact that there is some A-based funding and then there is some tax stabilization reserve, there is a bit of a mitigation strategy therein. And we talked about returning some of the funds at the end of the year. So managing some of that risk around timeline while also protecting our position around recruitment and staffing. So I'll start with that. I think Anna has also mentioned one of the key risks is related to the fact that most of our spending is around staffing costs, and that we have that is taking up, greater portions of the budget, and that's just something that we're keeping an eye on as we move forward and as we enter a period of expansion, because it's of course not just Central, it's also Hunt Club and these other locations. I don't know, Anna, if you wanted to talk about further risks.
I think the only other thing that I will add in terms of a direct service provision, again, linking it back to compensation and staffing, is that I think that as we've spoken about to the board and as the chair has noted, in our last round of collective bargaining with the union, we were able to introduce some changes which offer some stability to clients in terms of service provision. And I think that there is some risk in terms of our ability and timing around implementing that over the next few years. It's not something that we can turn around tomorrow and say, okay, it's complete. It is a bit of a process. However, we are working through that and we are committed to that. And I do believe that we are well positioned come this summer to be able to, as we've noted in the budget, to be able to offer Sundays full year round with the stability that we know that our clients have come to expect from us and from our services.
Well, I appreciate all the work that's being done. Obviously, as a board, we have to evaluate the risks and ask about that in terms of the work that staff is doing. I'm really pleased in terms of the work that's being done around deficiencies, because every dollar spent was really impactful for the community, and I want to really commend you in terms of economic value generation. I'll leave us with this in terms of the report. I thought it was very impactful to hear that every dollar invested in the library returns $4.30 in economic value. And, that supports local businesses, workforce development, and neighborhood vitality. But more important are the intangible benefits, the social connections, the intellectual engagement, and the creative exploration that is driven by the library. So, what I really wanted to emphasize is we see the hard work that you're doing internally in order to ensure that we have the proper revenue stream to ensure that this library is as strong, this library system is as strong as it can be. And I'm really pleased that the city is stepping up as a partner in terms of that effort. So I'll leave it there, but thank you for this budget and for the hard work that you're doing.
If I may just add, thank you very much, Trustee King. On your note about the intangible benefits, just a reminder, we are poised to bring to you in Q1 a report where we have attempted to identify the intangible benefits and add some sort of a value to those. So we look forward to bringing that to you, hopefully before the end of Q1.
I don't know how you measure joy, Anna, but I'm looking forward to it. I want to ask very plainly, okay, because this is the last budget of this board, and we know that the way that the budget cycle works following an election is quite different than the one that we're dealing with now. So we're dealing with nearly a quarter of time before the next budget will be delivered. So an additional quarter to the year, right? That leaves us with, approximately 3 months. We know from our previous deliberations that regardless of the news that we received today, recruitment of key positions for Odasoke, and we're also talking about bringing the Hunt Club branch online, that recruitment must continue in earnest. We need to bring those staff on board. And in fact, we also need to bring that staff on board to make good on the promise of Sunday hours as well. Does this budget set us up for success, given the political reality that there will be a period of time where the next board will not have an approved budget? And does it allow us to continue the work that needs to be done in preparation for Odasoke without compromising the services that we provide system-wide.
Chair, thank you for the question. The budget does set us up for success with the proviso that provided that those funding sources are as described this evening, so 2.5 within the A base and the remainder as part of tax stabilization, we can make a success of this through to beyond the approval in 2027. What happens with the approval in 2027 for that remaindered funding, and in terms of what is the council directed increase in 2027 is a bit of a different question. But in terms of carrying us through to that point, yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other staff want to comment on that?
Chair, I can kind of chime in if you indulge me.
Sure.
I mean,
God willing, you and I will both be here for that budget. So go ahead.
I'm not sure who's going to be the lucky one of that. But I mean, obviously, because of the election, the timing of a budget approval shifts out to March timeframe. The reality is we still approve a 12-month budget. So you still get the full calendar year of January through December 31st. It's just a matter of the timing and the process, right? The other reassurance you can have is that, if Adesoke is up and running and fully operational, obviously you got to run that building, run that facility, run your service standards, no different than winter operations. There's going to be new roads added in 2026 where we need to add additional budget to winter operations as an example. If it snows on January 1st, we're going to clear the snow on January 1st, 2027. That real budget doesn't come till a couple months later. But again, it's predicated on ensuring we deliver the services that we need to deliver. So it's just more of a little bit of a nuanced timing. But again, the full 12-month budget will be there. It's just the timing of when it gets approved.
That's fair. For us, I'm more worried about carrying the cost of that continued recruitment throughout the 3 months, just to make sure that we're made whole through that 2027 budget. So I appreciate that clarification, Cyril. Any further questions before we wrap on this item? Cyril, this is not an easy budget. We appreciate your partnership and your working with us through all of these intricacies. That's for sure. I mean, I know that there's quite a few projects that you need to help deliver on. I don't envy you in your position, especially this time of year. You've shown some immense dedication coming out and hearing from different community groups, supporting counselors, supporting community associations, and listening. I just want to thank you for your partnership and for your continued collaboration to ensure that we maintain stable funding to be able to deliver on the promises that we make at this board. So thank you, Cyril. Thank you also to Sonia and to Anna and to Matthew and all of the staff that provide feedback and do work to ensure that our entire system is able to function properly and that we're able to continue to deliver excellent service across the city. We appreciate you very, very much. Matt, you're just while you're sitting at the mic, because I never get to ask you, what are you reading just before we wrap this up?
Hi, Chair. Broken record. I'm still working on that 1,400 page. This is like the 6th time you've asked me this question. I really wish I had a different answer for you, but I promise you the next time you ask me, I'll be reading a different book.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I think the next time that you're sitting like this in front of us is probably that 2027 budget, so you better have it done by then.
What are you saying about my reading abilities?
Nothing at all. So thank you again to all city staff and to all of our staff, all the colleagues for your work on this budget. Following this, is this item now carried?
Carried.
Thank you, friends. As mentioned, the draft budget will be before Ottawa City Council for consideration on December 10th, 2025, as part of Ottawa City Council's approval of the City of Ottawa's 2026 draft operating and capital budget. The magnum opus that is slightly larger than the book that Matthew Pritz is currently reading. Item 10.2, the 2026 Board Continuing Education Plan and Conference attendance. We're very lucky to have such involved and wonderful and diversely experienced trustees on our board. It is unfortunate that Trustee Brown is no longer available to attend the 2026 Ontario Library Association. You will be dearly missed. As such, Trustee Slack has been suggested to replace Trustee Brown at OLA. Does anybody have any comments? Is this something that we can move on to moving the motion? All good? Everybody's okay? Harvey, do you want to go?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Vice Chair Fisher, can you read the motion, please?
That the Ottawa Public Library Board approve the attendance of trustees at conferences in 2026 as further described in this report and as amended with Trustee Slack replacing Trustee Brown.
Is this item carried?
Carried.
Next one, Mary Rose. Okay, it's been a particularly long one, as the budget one usually is. Do we have any notices of motion? Seeing none, do we have any inquiries? Seeing none. Trustee Smith, what are you reading?
I don't have anything. Yeah, no, I don't have anything worthy of mention to this esteemed group. So next time, hopefully, I have something that I can recommend.
Oh man, I was stoked. Okay, good. Well, Myra, what are you reading?
I am reading one of the titles mentioned earlier today called Let Them by Mel Robbins. And I keep getting the 7-day loan, so I get through a few chapters and have to return it. So it's taking me a while. Not as long as Matt, but it's taking me a while.
Oh, poor Maddie. That's a pretty heavy book. Thank you, Myra. Trustee Brown, what are you reading?
I am reading a biography of C.D. Howe by Robert Bothwell. It's old. It came out in 1979, and the story of someone who was a great contributor to Canada's industrial and infrastructure base, and who's been called on a lot lately in the context of building Canada strong.
I thought you were going to tell us you were reading cabinet documents, but the author of that book, I served with him on the board of the War Museum for 5 years. Yeah. From Toronto, Bothwell. Yeah.
Interesting. Sarah McIntyre, what are you reading?
I just finished one of the books that was on the list, actually, like Myra, but it was Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and it is super fun. Like, her books are really quick reads. They're Moorish. They go fast. I admit I didn't like it as much as Carrie Soto is Back, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, we'll do one more, and Sarah, I'll let you choose who you want to know what they're reading.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna go bug our CEO. Sonia, what are you reading?
I'm reading The Good Allies by Tim Cook. So his last book. So that's very good. And then in fiction, I'm still reading a French book, Charlotte Pays des Mots. It is the winner of the Prix du Livre, so part of the Ottawa Book Awards in French language. And it takes me a little bit longer to read in French. So it's just taking me a little bit longer to get through it, but I am very much enjoying it. Words are personified as people. Proper nouns are a little bit haughty, and and verbs are, as they are. It's really quite an interesting creative concept. So I'm enjoying that.
That does sound fun. Well, I mean, that's it for what are you reading 2025? I mean, I think that probably going back in the Hansard and looking at some of the diverse reads might make for an interesting blog post on the OPL website, but I don't direct operations. As this was our last board meeting of the year, I'd like to express my continued thanks and appreciation to my colleagues on this board. I appreciate you. You are wonderful. I appreciate your contributions. I also want to express my thanks and appreciation to the amazing staff at OPL for a wonderful year. I got very lucky and got to visit quite a few branches this year. Most recently, the beautiful little branch out in Carp last Friday, which stalks the Diefenbunker. You leave the Diefenbunker and it's staring you in the face. Staff there were wonderful, warm, charming, friendly. I got to meet a new staff member who just started about 3 months ago. Incredibly welcoming and just appreciated that conversation. As I always say, it is not the books that make our library amazing. That is not our greatest resource. Our greatest resource is our people. And so I want to wish every single one of you a warm and Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating. I hope you have a wonderful time of warmth with your family and togetherness. And don't be afraid to curl up with a good book and maybe your dog or your cat or your chinchilla or whatever you're into. Please note that the next held board meeting date is Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. But don't worry, Harvey, if there is some pertinent information, we may have one before then. We'll keep you posted.
Oh,
Thank you very much, everyone. This meeting is adjourned. Happy holidays.
same to you. It was like one of our longer meetings. You staying in town or? But that's nice. Those are always enjoyable.